We would like to call to order the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners business meeting of September 21st. We have 3 commissioners present, so we have a quorum. Commissioner Stamper, would you lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the September 14, 2015 BOCC minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of September 14th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. We have Cheryl Haywood, the Director of Timberland Regional Library, to speak to us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before I get started, I would like to have the staff who are here today to stand up and introduce yourselves and the library you represent.
I'm Chris Johnson. I'm the Interim Library Manager at the Centralia Timberland Library.
I'm Elizabeth Squires. I'm the Library Manager of Pathway.
I'm Casey Austin. I'm the new Library Manager at the Bernetta Smith Shaheless Timberland Library.
Thank you.
And we'd like to extend our condolences again
Yes.
to the loss of Nancy Sawyers
Yes.
from Mountain View.
Yes, thank you very much for mentioning that. I was just about to do so. That's great, thank you. And we are advertising currently for that position. I'm here to share with you 3 updates about Timberland Regional Library, and you each have a folder highlighting some of those updates. We are into our 11th year of Timberland Reads Together, which covers October 1 through October 31st. We are trying something very new this year. We did Timberland Writes Together, where we asked our residents of our 5 counties to submit short stories that reflect a sense of optimism. We received 198 short stories and cover art. And so what you have in your folder is a newsletter that highlights the program that starts October 1st. And of course, there's a lot of programs going on in Lewis County that reflect that. I want to also mention that we have, for our 3rd year in a row, Get the Card campaign, which is our library card campaign. We typically, in the month of October, issue 4,000 new library cards across the 27 libraries across the 5 counties. Also, thank you very much. For the first time in Timberland's history, the library director has been appointed to the Pacific Mountain Workforce Development Council Board. That is a mouthful. And this is really a great honor. My orientation with this board begins this Thursday, and it also means that we will be working very closely with this agency as well as with other agency towards a one-stop service delivery integrated model. Wanted to mention that new cards for Lewis County is up by 4%. 2,069 cards were issued from January through June of this year in the libraries in Lewis County. And downloads are up also the first 6 months of this year. All of our downloadable services, that's books and ebooks and audiobooks and music and so on, is up 18%, 26,388 downloads were issued in the first 6 months of this year. I do want to mention that the Microsoft IT Academy has been budgeted to continue through the Washington State Library, so everyone has access to over 20 different languages, over 400 classes from very beginner to very advanced in terms of Microsoft Office products. And I also wanted to lastly mention a service story that comes from the Chehalis Bernetta Smith Timberland Library. In early August, a patron requested help doing research on Margaret Sanger for a newspaper article. We were able to find her some books. We placed 4 interlibrary loan requests from other library systems, and best of all, we found a letter written by Sanger in 1939, and this was exactly what our patron was looking for. Thank you very much.
Comments? Questions?
Thank you very much. Speaking from living up in the East End, I would like to thank the library for supporting the schools and vice versa there, because it's a tremendous asset for our end of the world to have that, because as everyone knows, proximity is a big obstacle from time to time. So we've got great people up there working, and I think as a former educator, so thank you guys.
Thank you.
And I'd like to note our previous conversation saying we appreciate your coming here to meet with us, but we would like a longer meeting in the future with you, so we have some give and take on some of the service areas. that, like in Toledo and what's happening in Morton,
Uh-huh.
and talk about how we're doing helping people who are looking for work. I know there's a lot of resources out there.
Yes.
We always have lately a high unemployment rate, and we'd
Yes.
like to lower that.
Yes.
And I know some of those resources you have
Yes.
can be very helpful to those individuals.
So very, very briefly, there's something in your handout that typically I don't necessarily share at this level with county commissioners, but I think because of what you've just said, it's
Yes.
really critically important. In your folder on your left, there's information on Gale courses, which are college-level classes. They are free. They are 6 weeks online. And they are with a live instructor, so you get a sense of the types of classes that are available in that. And then there's also a chart on the second page of all the different databases we have and what they do to help people find jobs, either to start a small business or to write that resume or to write that cover letter. In addition, we are beginning to work very closely with the United States Small Business Administration. We are going to be probably moving into a formal MOU with them sometime soon so that we will be offering how to start a small business in the 5 counties. We'll be working with Melanie Norton. In the meantime, the staff behind me are attending the Lewis County meetings that Melanie Norton from the Small Business Administration is putting together. She's doing the same thing for the other 4 counties we serve as well.
And I appreciate that you also are one of the locations that has our budget. And
Yes.
so folks, and we really do wish that people could take advantage of that.
Yes.
And a particular service story for me, a person who didn't have a lot of funds, who didn't have a computer, and was asking me, what can I do? I want to access, go to your library.
Yes.
And they came back and said, yes, that works. And I
Yes.
can print off, and I can come back and get my email, and yes, so a lot of services.
A lot of resources, a lot of services.
And even from people's home computer in addition.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the notice agenda, one item, resolution number 15267.
I second.
Mr. Walton.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Walton, Budget Administrator, speaking to item number 1 on the notice agenda. That's resolution number 15-267. It's a notice of a public hearing on the preliminary budget for 2016. The Board of County Commissioners will meet on Monday, October 5th, per RCW, at 2015 at 10 a.m. in this room for the purpose of taking public comment on the Lewis County preliminary budget for 2016. Of note, this is the first hearing on the 2016 budget. There will also be a public presentation in November. I believe it's November 16th, but I might need to verify that. But in the evening, around at 5:30 in this room, for public to attend and get information as they may wish to hear about the budget for 2016. And then the second hearing, as required by RCW, will be on December the 7th, which is also the day we'll be adopting the 2016 budget. The notice for this particular hearing will be posted in the East County Journal on September 23rd and the 30th. Copies of the 2016 preliminary budget will be available at the Centralia Community College campuses in Morton and Centralia, all of the Timberland Library branches, which we just talked about, the Lewis County Senior Centers, and in the budget office in room 209 in this building. It will also be posted on the website. Any questions?
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the notice agenda, number 1, resolution number 15-267. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda, 4 items, 2 through 5, resolution number 15-268 through 15-271.
I second.
Suzanne.
Good morning, Commissioners. Suzette Smith, Auditor's Office, Financial Services Division, here to present to you Agenda Item Number 2, Resolution Number 15-268. This is the weekly approval of warrants, and we had draws or payroll for last week. We had 200, excuse me, wrong line. We had 195 regular warrants, number 731603 through 731669, 731794 through 731921, for a total of $1,086,631.77 in regular warrants. For payroll, we had 238 warrants, 731922 through 732159, for a total of $270,479. Any questions?
Questions?
One other item to note, our 2014 statements are now posted to the website.
Thank you. Mr. Elsey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Elsey, Public Works Director, speaking to items 3 and 4 on your consent agenda. Item number 3 is resolution number 15-269. This is proposed vacation of a portion of unmaintained A.J. White Road, number 195, also known as Moorcroft Road in Boisfort, Washington. The property owners abutting the unmaintained portion of A.J. White Road have requested that the county vacate a portion of the right-of-way. Any and all interest other than requesting parties will be evaluated as part of the engineer's report. The requesting parties have deposited a check to cover administrative and publication costs of vacation, which may be non-refundable in whole or in part once this resolution is signed, regardless of the findings of the county engineer. Passing this resolution would instruct the county engineer to examine the road, evaluate the request, and file an engineer's report as required by RCW 3687010 and Lewis County Code 12-15.
Questions?
Item number 4 on your consent agenda is resolution number 15-270. This is approving an interlocal agreement with the town of PL and the Lewis County Fire District number 1 in Onalaska for sponsorship of residential used oil collection tanks. According to a state law passed in 2014, local governments are to have best management practices in place to prevent contamination in used oil collection sites. As you're aware, there have been some contamination by PCBs of used oil collection in other areas throughout the state. So in order to manage this better, we've put together used oil collection sites that will have 2 tanks in them so that we can collect and fill up 1 tank. Then we can test the oil in that tank while the other tank is being used, and we can shut off the one. This will enter into an interlocal agreement with Fire District number 1 in the town of PL for them to sponsor and house 2 of these tanks in each of those communities.
Questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Lee Napier, speaking on agenda item number 5, resolution 15-271. So this is related to the Packwood Airport, and it is phase 3 work. And what's before the board today is approval to accept a grant offer. So we have received a request, or excuse me, an offer from the Federal Aviation for partial funding of phase 3 of the Packwood Airport reconstruction. And the reason why we're receiving partial funding is because we are at the end of the federal fiscal calendar, so they are offering us what is available at this point. And so I recommend that we take partial funding because that will put us in line then to complete the funding or full funding next year. Any questions?
Questions, comments?
Lee, you had mentioned that you were hoping that the contractor, maybe who bids on this specific project, will be able to carry the whole thing through without going back and rebidding.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. We opened bids here in early September for the project because we were hoping to get that last bit of federal funding. And so because we didn't, we are now negotiating with the list of people who've submitted bids to see if they're willing to hold over and honor the bids for this year, for next construction season. If not, then we'll have to put it back out to bid.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, items 2 through 5, resolutions number 15-268 through 271. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chair, with no further business, I move we adjourn.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming.